It's the Truth in Sports coming at you live again from wherever I'm coming from, North Carolina, Greensboro, the center of the sports world. Okay, the ACC. Hey, I want to give you my top 10 for the week in the NFL. There's some other stories I'm going to cover in a couple other posts. I'm going to tell you why Brady is a system quarterback. I'm going to tell you why he's not who people think he is, like Denny Green once said. He is who I thought he was, and I'll explain that. But right now, what we're going to do is going to go to the top 10 teams from going into week 3. You had my list from week 2. A couple of teams fell off. My Tennessee Titans, they came off the list. Just a bad loss to Houston. I know it was only by 3, but still can't let Houston put up 34 points on your home turf, man. That's just unexcusable, but they'll get it together. They'll be back in the top 10, but for right now, they are out. Now, some other teams that haven't made the top 10 and probably will not, I won't go into those right now because a lot of y'all will be disturbed if I do. So what I'm going to do is give you the top 10, man. This is where it stands. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the season, one of the things you'll find out about me is I'm going to give you the truth in sports. So, with that being said, my top 10 from the beginning of the season are not the same as the talking heads out there that you see on ESPN and some of the other shows. But I'm giving you what I know from the wisdom of years of studying the NFL, from years of, just knowing stuff that I know. So here we go. Top 10 this week. The New York Giants. What can you say, man? All them Dallas fans, I know they're sick. They came into your home place, the big opening night of the big Jerry's World, and the Giants, they didn't even play that well. They didn't play their best ball, but they still won. That's the mark of a true championship caliber team. When you can go into your division rival's home turf and win a game like that where you don't play your best, tells me a lot about the Giants. They are contenders, not pretenders. The second team is the Baltimore Ravens. What can you say? The Ravens, they look good, man. The offense is clicking. They're going to play good defense. What can you say about Ray Lewis, man? That guy's a beast. He just keeps playing. The guy's about my age, but still playing linebacker at a top-notch level. You go, Ray. Not a big Ravens guy, but hey, the guys are taking care of business. They got the offense clicking. Joe Flacco's got his weapons. Derek Mason, I'm glad he didn't retire. I'm sure Flacco's glad he didn't retire. And then he's hooking up with Mark Clayton a lot. He's got Todd Heap. That team will be dangerous. Look for them to stay in the top 5 the whole year. The next team, number 3, is Pittsburgh. They went into Chicago, lost a close game there. And, I dropped them from number 1 to number 3. They're still going to be contenders when it's all said and done. But the thing about them is they look beatable. So that's got to be a concern to Mike Tomlin. But still, they're a top-tier team, and they'll be there. I know some of you may say, well, they lost a game. You had some 2-0 teams that you don't have ranked higher than them. Right, because you're getting the truth in sports. Not who wins week 1 or week 2 or that type thing. But by week 4, we'll know what this thing really looks like. I pretty much can guarantee this. After week 4, 9 out of my top 10 teams will be in the top 10 at the end of the year. That's how solid my picks are. Okay? Now, number 4 is the New Orleans Saints. Man, New Orleans surprised everybody. Now, their offense is high-powered, but I didn't think they would go into Philly and put up as many points as they did. I figured Philly's defense would get to Drew Brees, make it rough for him and everything. That didn't happen. They showed why they are a top 5 team in the league right now. And will they be there at the end of the season? That's one of the teams that's a little bit questionable whether they'll be there or not. But even at this point in the season, after 2 weeks, I guarantee you 7 out of my 10 teams will be in the top 10 at the end of the year. But New Orleans look good. They can put up points. Defense can slow you down a little. So, hey, they may be there at the end of the year. Number 5, Indy. What can you say about Indy, man? All they do is find ways to win. They got Peyton Manning. And as long as they got Peyton Manning, they're going to be in contention. I can tell you that. They didn't win pretty. Miami ran the ball a lot on him, had the Wildcat going, made it an interesting game. Miami controlled the clock, man. How can you have the ball for almost 30 minutes in a game and and still lose? But they did that. When you have Peyton Manning on the other side, when Peyton first came in, I said Peyton is too hyped. The media loves this guy. He's not any better than McNair. But you know what? Being a Tennessee Titan fan, I got to take my hat off to that cat. He's for real. Peyton Manning is the best quarterback in the league. That whole Brady talk, it's all that Brady talk. Yeah, Brady has 3 Super Bowls, but Brady's not the best quarterback in the league. That's Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning will be until he retires. And the next, number 6, is Minnesota. Minnesota's 2-0. They played some pretty good ball. Defense is going to be solid. Adrian Peterson's going to do his thing. Brett Favre has not had a lot of turnovers. He's not made a lot of mistakes. He's just being pretty quiet. And that's a good thing because later in the season, that's when you may want Brett to pull out a couple of games for you. But right now, they haven't played anybody, but they're 2-0. So they've done what is expected of them. So I look to follow them later on in the year and as the weeks progress to see exactly where they stand at that point. But they will be in the top 10 at the end of the year. San Diego Chargers lost to Baltimore. Hey, that was a tough game at home. But the Ravens are for real. So San Diego, I didn't really take them down too much. They're at number 7 now. They were a little bit higher than that last week. But they played a pretty decent game. They're going to be in contention. Phillip Rivers does what he does. Gates and company and Sproles is a good running back. They have a solid team. A lot of people picked them to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll make it to the Super Bowl, but they'll have a good season. The New York Jets at number 8. They are making their debut in the top 10. And they're doing it in a big way, man, because those guys on defense, hey, I love their swagger, the attitude. Rex Ryan, I love this father, Buddy Ryan, back in the day with Philadelphia, with the Bears, down in Houston. I'm a Buddy Ryan fan, man. I love that 46 defense. Everybody just playing ball, coming to get the quarterback, mean type defense. You know what I'm saying? And Rex Ryan, he has that same mentality, man. So him not bound down to the Patriots and talking junk and everything else, I love it. As a matter of fact, you can go ahead and write this down. When they play New England, it's not going to be a revenge. The Jets will beat them again. Write that down. And you heard it here first on The Truth in Sports. Number 9, making their debut in the top 10 is Atlanta. Atlanta looks pretty good, man. Tony Gonzalez is a good pickup for them. Looks like he's going to make a difference for the young quarterback. The running game is what it is. Michael Turner, he's a beast. Your boy, man, Matt Ryan. This guy's for real. He can play the position. So Atlanta, they're going to make some noise. They will finish probably second in the NFC South, but they'll make the playoffs for the first time back-to-back years. And these guys are on to something. They can add a couple more pieces on defense. They'll be a team to reckon with in the future. And then rounding out the top 10 at number 10, making their debut this week, is the team that ended up in the Super Bowl on the NFC side, the Arizona Cardinals. Kurt Warner tried to go off, try to have a perfect game. Man, Kurt can still, and if you look at his stats, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks to ever play the game. And when you watch him play, you see why, man. The guy's he's just on the money. And Arizona, they showed something. They went on the road, East Coast, beat a team that I don't know how good Jacksonville is. They may just be terrible this year. But Arizona took care of business, and I look for them to, they'll be in contention. But you know what? Out in the West, I'm going to see how San Francisco does over the next few weeks. I'm not going to call them yet and say that they have arrived and will win the West, but I love what Singletary has them boys doing as far as their attitude, and they're coming to play. They will not be an easy game for anybody. But Arizona, hats off for making the top 10 this week, and had a great week. And look, that's it for this week. I'm giving you the top 10. Look at these top 10 as the games progress this weekend, and see, aren't these teams the best team in the league?